The 800s are the biggest of the big boys, but in this world of big bore engines, there's only room for one champion. We ran the Polaris Sportsman 800, the Bombardier Outlander 800, and the Kawasaki Brute Force 750 through 3 tests to see how they perform in real-world conditions. For four-wheel drive, suspension, and power, Polaris is simply unrivaled. First, let's see how they handle a variety of terrain like you might find out on the trail. We call it our steeplechase course. From a dead stop, our riders accelerate through a rock run, over a log, through a wash, then power through a corner and up a hill. The Outlander jumps out of the gate and skips over the first bump. The tires and aluminum rims get a beating in the rocks. Those bolted aluminum footpad supports scrape and grind under your feet. Notice the body roll front to back when accelerating and braking. The Outlander is fast in the straights, but it tends to wander on the trail. And on tight corners, the rear inside wheel wants to lift. The engine is geared high and struggles getting up the hill. The Brute Force has a soggy suspension. Check out that steering feedback. The 2-star tires and aluminum rims ding and dent their way over the rocks. The Brute has only 6.7 inches of travel up front and 7.9 inches in the rear. The rider has to fight the machine in the corners because of the added steering effort in four-wheel drive. Those foot pegs on the floorboards can be uncomfortable during long rides. The 800 Twin is the biggest, baddest Sportsman ever. The custom-designed PXT radial tires and cast aluminum rims are strong and tough. The proven EFI Twin with dual exhaust delivers plenty of torque and power to the ground. The suspension is rider-tuned with 8.2 inches of travel up front and 9.5 inches in the rear with an anti-sway bar for stability. Sportsman 800 is a brawny bulldog that's ready for anything the trail can dish out. Some ATVs claim to have four-wheel drive. With Polaris, you get two-wheel drive all the time and all four wheels pulling when you need it. What makes a Polaris special is its ability to automatically sense this and switch back and forth as the terrain changes for the best traction and ease of steering available. This keeps you going without losing momentum. The first test is what we call the rolling road. It helps you understand how four-wheel drive systems work. 3 wheels ride on rollers, and 1 wheel is held in place by an obstacle. Machines approach in 2-wheel drive, switch into 4-wheel drive, then climb over the obstacle. At least that's the theory. Watch carefully. The actual results will surprise you. On the Outlander, you flip the switch for 4-wheel drive. 1 front wheel has to spin 3.5 times before it pumps enough fluid to kick in the 4th wheel. Watch it slowly start to move. In a mud hole, can you risk that slow response? On the Kawasaki, you flip the switch for 4-wheel drive, but only 3 wheels spin because of the limited slip differential. You have to stop your momentum, and after a lot of fiddling, grab another lever, finally going into 4-wheel drive. The Sportsman delivers all-wheel power right from the start. Up and over. Was that so hard, guys? Right here is the reason why the Sportsman can go from 2-wheel to true all-wheel drive on the fly. It's called an automatic bidirectional overrunning clutch for you guys who are taking notes. Here's 2-wheel drive. Our smart technology automatically senses when the rear wheels slip, even before you do. Just flip the switch to engage both front wheels. It locks in with full torque, delivering true all-wheel traction. This is the easiest and quickest responding all-wheel drive on the market. And unlike any other machine, a Polaris engages and disengages all-wheel drive on its own, as you need it, automatically, when terrain or trail conditions change. So you can concentrate on the trail instead of thinking about which button to push and lever to pull. That's smart. What do you want out on the trail? True all-wheel drive or something less? Think about it. Now let's get to the next test. This is Bump City. On this specially designed course, we placed timbers at alternate angles to simulate trail conditions. You'd expect these big boys to handle the bumps and hits, rolling right over the rough stuff. But the Outlander hands out a lot of handlebar chatter. The stiff stabilizer bar doesn't allow the suspension much travel. Watch the rider's hands. Let's see that again in slow motion. And watch those front wheels as they're tossed back and forth. Aboard the Kawasaki, the weak suspension makes the rider roughhouse over every bump. Watch the front end slap back and forth, jerking the bars in the rider's hands, sending the machine sideways. Here are the magazine reviews. When speeds pick up in the rough stuff, the rear end can really bounce around. Kawasaki needs to address the handling quirks of a machine with this kind of power that wanders and hunts on the trail. The Polaris makes it look easy. The integrated suspension system works from the ground up. PXT radial tires, premium shocks, rugged springs, and stabilizer bar. The weight sled is a test of raw power and traction in the real world. Let's see what kind of guts these machines have when you drop the hammer in all-wheel drive. When you're buying an 800cc ATV, you're paying for power, right? You better be. But take a look at this before you whip out the checkbook. The brute force engine hesitates at the line. Then the wimpy two-star tires skid back and forth, trying to go straight. With a pull of 75 feet, the brute force doesn't seem to have a lot of brute force. The Outlander rolls away from the start line in three-wheel drive as the all-wheel drive system builds up pressure before engaging both front tires. The Outlander does better, 87 feet, but still not up to the Sportsman level. Now watch the Sportsman 800 go to work. That EFI twin digs in with all four wheels for a pull of 94 feet. No ATV anywhere outmuscles the 800. It even brought smiles to the industry magazine critics' faces. A defining moment came when we looked for a quad to haul out the wounded brute force after we broke a tie rod. We looked no further than the Sportsman, and it didn't disappoint. Here's the wrap-up for the 800 class. On the rolling road, Sportsman all-wheel drive rolls over Bombardier and Kawasaki. Through the bumps, the legendary Polaris suspension delivers the best ride. And on the weight sled, nobody outpowers, outpulls, or outdoes the Polaris 800. Want to see more? Click on individual tests for each machine at offroadreality.com.